Helpless Shedeur Sanders forced to watch from sidelines as Kevin Stefanski decides Browns QB1. Cleveland Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders has been the standout in a jam-packed QB room all off-season. Yes, we're talking OTAs, mandatory minicamp, and training camp. But now, with the regular season barely 3 weeks out, he's managed to stand out in another category, injuries. Odd. Sure. True. Unfortunately. While Kenny Pickett and Dillon Gabriel are recovering from their respective hamstring injuries, Shedeur has sustained another injury in a span of a couple of weeks. First came a sore arm that kept him off the field for part of practice. Fast forward to Wednesday's joint session with the Eagles, and Kevin Stefanski and company confirmed the Colorado Buffaloes product has picked up an oblique injury. Shedeur Sanders injured his oblique throwing early in practice on Wednesday and was held out the remainder of practice. The Broppans broke the news on X. The quarterback held the rest of the practice, sure. But many expected him to return on Thursday. But there has been a wrinkle. On Thursday, August 14th, Mary Kay Cabot of Cleveland.com broke the concerning news. QB Shedeur Sanders in uniform, but not practicing today BC of oblique, she wrote on X. Well, it was expected. Given that he's in uniform and not practicing, we can assume the Browns are not risking further complications for Shedeur's oblique injury. As per The Athletic, the Cleveland team said Sanders is day-to-day and won't be able to participate in any team drills on Thursday. To make it worse, he's now unlikely to start in the preseason Week 2 showdown against the reigning Super Bowl champs. Shedeur's injury came after the rookie turned heads in the preseason opener against the Panthers earlier this month. Considering Pickett and Gabriel are rehabbing, and Joe Flacco wasn't expected to show up due to precautionary measures, Sanders started against the Carolina team. The quarterback finished with 14 of 23 for 138 yards and racked up a couple of touchdowns. Two ways you could look at it. You could look at it and be thankful and take full advantage of the opportunity, Sanders said. He went on. Or you could look at it like, dang, guess what I've been asking for, and I'm not prepared. So I would say I've been able to sleep good at night knowing I was playing. I didn't know I was playing until just a few days ago. Then I just prepared for it as normal. That said, and as the Browns confirmed that Shedeur Sanders is not practicing on Thursday, it's now unlikely for him to start against the Eagles. Kevin Stefanski is expected not to start with Shedeur Sanders. Social media lit up when Shedeur Sanders torched the Panthers in the preseason opener this month. And one could argue that he's a confirmed starter for the preseason Week 2 game, and rightfully so. After all, Kevin Stefanski himself confirmed it. Yeah, I guess if those guys could not play, yes, and we're working through that. He said when asked if Shedeur would start if Dillon Gabriel is unable to. We were always going to play our young guys a lot in these games, so we'll see how it shakes out here over the next couple of days, the HC added. But there's an unexpected change in the narrative. Shedeur is down with an oblique injury and is unlikely to play against the Eagles. So, the actual question emerges. Who'll start now? Well, odds are in favor of Shedeur's fellow rookie QB. Gabriel. If the chatter carries any weight, Stefanski has confirmed Gabriel as the preseason Week 2 starter. But as long as his hamstring injury allows him to. Again, the plan was always to give both of those guys a start in the preseason, so we'll see how it shakes out, Stefanski hinted. As for Gabriel, the rookie shrugged things off and revealed that he has no clue if he's going to start. I have no clue what's going to happen. I'm just right where my feet are, he said. Time will tell, and we'll see what happens, but it's up to the coaches. Gabriel has been suffering from a hamstring injury for some days now, sure. But given that he has been participating in 11 since Monday, expect him to replace Shedeur Sanders against the Eagles. And Sanders? We'll see how soon he recovers. Makes everything look like a memory already. On the sideline, helmets gleamed and cleats kicked at the turf, but Shedeur Sanders felt like he was watching through glass. Not because anyone had put a barrier between him and the game, but because the moment him wanted to be part of most, the decision that would name the team's QB1, had been placed in someone else's hands. He moved with the measured calm of a man who had rehearsed patience until it became muscle. His wrist still had the dull ache of a hit he couldn't rewrite. His head still replayed plays like film loops. Around him, the Browns practiced the familiar ballet of preseason. Drills, whistles, the clatter of pads. But the real choreography was happening inside a quiet office up the hall, where coach Kevin Stefanski would tally more than stats. Leadership, health, timing, and a season's worth of trust. From the bench, Shedeur watched the quarterbacks take reps. Each snap was a little verdict, a chance to argue with silence. Sometimes his chest tightened, not from pain but from wanting, that raw, pressing thing athletes learn to carry. The urge to be seen for the work you've done. He wanted to show the coach the new cadence he'd smoothed in practice, the way his eyes flicked to a receiver before the defender could notice. He wanted to answer the questions that tweets and headlines asked before the game even began. But the roster is not decided by longing. It is decided by calculus and conversation, by film sessions and medical reports. Coach Stefanski walked the middle ground of that calculus with the steady gait of a man who knows how quickly a season can unravel when you favor the short over the sure. The staff measured shoulder strength, gauged reaction to contact, talked to trainers, and to the player himself. That was a process Shedeur had to cede, no matter how loud his heartbeat felt. He thought back to smaller things. A coach who once told him, "You don't control the clock, you control the hand that moves it." It had become his private mantra, one he repeated when the pain came or the doubt did. Today, controlling the hand meant trusting Stefanski's judgment. But trust, like muscle, is built in reps. Sometimes the reps are on the field, sometimes they're in silence. Around him, the stadium buzzed with speculation. Fans texted and debated. Analysts spun narratives about momentum and potential. Social feeds turned the decision into a spectacle, a tangled knot of opinion and prediction. It was noise, and it made everything feel sharper. Yet on the sideline, the players treated it like background radio, loud and persistent, but ultimately distant. Their work was closer. The next snap, the next block, the next route run to the point of exhaustion. When Stefanski finally came to the sideline, the conversation was brief. He moved with the efficiency of a man who knew the weight of what he was about to say. "We're still evaluating," he told Shedeur, voice low enough that only those nearby could hear. The words were steady, clinical. Not a promise, not a denial. Just a hinge. The same kind of sentence coaches use when the future is not yet safe to say aloud. Shedeur nodded. He could have asked for more.